Chapter 2. But if the repentant thing went wrong for me, the wet herself thing went wrong for her. We hardly put our feet inside the door when we saw crossing in front of our eyes two slippers and a little toweling toe. Bego looked at me surprised I was too. I had never seen such a thing. I was almost completely sure that things moved from their places, but I had never seen them moving. "Oh my God!" Bego shouted. She should think it better afterwards and decided it was some of my dodges to make fun of her and went in so confident. With that bravery one gets when she thinks she knows all. I took it more cautiously. I actually knew that was for real. There was an awkward calm in the inside that sure was an ordinary calm, but that, expecting the worst, seemed awkward. The drawers of the cabinets were opening and closing as if Mary Poppins were singing the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And the clothes were going in and out as they were tied up at the drawer's bottom by an elastic band. At that point, Bego was expecting an I gotcha, or so. She expected maybe I got a chair close to her not to crash into the ground when she fainted. Unluckily for her, I was as astonished as her, and she fell fast asleep on the floor. Luckily for her, I had just vacuumed. The blow wasn't too big either, because she didn't take long to get up, or it seemed to me because I still was astonished. The thing is that she got up and took me out of the trance. "Dude, the place is haunted!" she shouted like deducing. "Yeah," I said. "Awesome!" she exclaimed. "Yeah," I said. "Look how things fly!" she pointed out. "Yeah," I said. After a while of conversation, as eloquent as this, seeing everything on the air, we went to the kitchen and tried to eat something. We tried because we really couldn't. The knives flying were a bit more impressive than a chubby little toad. "Come," Bego said, "let's go to that magic shop near the train station." She got me completely freaked out. I didn't even know there was such a thing. At the magic shop near the train station, we had to wait for the woman in charge to understand the reason for our visit. And she didn't take long because she was slow. Bego was plenty of determination until the tune of the bamboos announced our entry. I was still astonished, and even the bamboos movement announcing our entry that were hanged from the ceiling by a string seemed to me owed to an apparition. "Good afternoon," the kind lady greeted. We that actually were women didn't answer, not by lack of kindness, but by transitory mental disease, permanent in my case according to Bego. "May I help you?" the shop assistant asked after a few minutes, seeing we didn't move from our place or look around or anything. Bego stood there looking at the woman, and I stood there looking at the bamboos. "I'm here working. If you need something, let me know," the woman said. We still had our head in the clouds. Luckily for the woman Bego's boyfriend phoned to find out the reason why she hadn't arrived yet if she had told him to meet 15 minutes before. The call had the double cutting edge of telling off and life belt. She left with the excuse of arriving as soon as possible and abandoned me standing opposite to the good woman that was serving, and that you could easily see she was about to lose her temper. About to lose her temper, but keeping the pleasantness. She stared at me, keeping the smile, waiting for a proof of life on my side. Look, it's not that you are bothering me, she said after a few minutes. But maybe you don't find here what you are looking for. No, well, maybe not, I said at last. It was my friend's idea to come here. Well, at least we know something, she said. And why did she think it was a good idea to come here? The truth was that the woman was a born seller, because taking something out of me in that condition was a total display of knowing how. And she took it all out. I told her what happened, and thank goodness it was a magic shop, because if it were a green grocery, I would get 100 of her recipes, spells, and evil eyes. But being that a magic shop, I left with the name of a supposed expert in paranormal phenomena of the A Coruña University, because in this business of moving things, knew better than the ones from the Santiago University. Of course, that's what they say. The assistant doubted. The man's name was Igor Casas de Andrade, and because the woman had told me he was a professor of the University of A Coruña, who in this business of moving things knew better than the ones from the Santiago University, according to them. Otherwise, I easily could imagine him with a traveling hump on his shoulders. In front of the directory of the mysterious science faculty, I looked up the floor of the Eagles department. Goblins and singular creatures. I knew I was right once I heard the paper stuck on the door with the sellotape. Analysis of the goblin's behavior. True. Marks of the year. Igor Casas de Andrade, A Coruña, the 9th January 2010. Underneath, a list of 14 names with a number in black from 5 to 10 next to them, except for Lois Paris Garcias. Next to Lois, there was a 2.5 in red and bold numbers. The motherfucker did it again! I heard behind me. How things were for you? He asked. I looked at him, trying to decide whether to take offense at taking me for a student of such a subject, or be flattered that he had taken me for a university student. Fine, I'm not his student, I answered, pointing at the door. Well, you don't know how lucky you are. I finished my degree 5 years ago, and I hadn't passed yet, he said. So you only have this subject left? I asked. Yeah, dear, only this, he answered, trying to make me feel sorry for him. Oh, well, then you haven't finished the degree yet. I dropped to make him get his act together. It's not necessary to say that he looked stern at me. He didn't look good anyway. He was a kind of slim guy, with a pair of infinite legs under a paunch grown by beards and a clear head with almost sharp-ending ears. That appearance, talking of the faculty we were talking about, looked more like an exchange student from the magic Eume Woods than a university student repeating the year. I see, the girl is on the wall, he muttered, scratching his ear with angry face. Then, I don't know, what are you doing here? I almost feel like wishing you are his wife. Of course, It could mean 5 years more of fails. He looked up and down at me and knocked on the door over my shoulder, keeping the look. Yeah, came out from the inside in bad mood tone.